Hi. So the song is called Well Done, and it's by the Afters. And I'm going to read some of it since um, we only heard part of it. What will it be like when my pain is gone and all the worries of this world just fade away? What will it be like when you call my name and that moment when I see you face to face? I'm waiting my whole life to hear you say, well done, my good and faithful one. Welcome to the place where you belong. Well done, my beloved child. You have run the race and now you're home. Welcome to the place where you belong. What will it be like when tears are washed away and every broken thing will finally be made whole? What will it be like when I come into your glory, standing in the presence of a love so beautiful? I'm waiting my whole life for that day. I will live my life to hear you say, well done, my good and faithful one. Welcome to the place where you belong. Well done, my beloved child. You have run the race and now you're home. Welcome to the place where you belong. So I never know where Spirit's going to take me on a talk. I had listened on the radio thinking, the other talks that I've done for this group have come from a song. So I was listening to the radio for a couple of weeks and nothing came. There was one song, but it just I kind of lost, didn't write it down while I was driving, and it just didn't come together. So one day my roommate asked me if I wanted to read a book before he returned it to the library. And he knew that I was aware of Thich Nhat Hanh. I had done a retreat with him years ago. So he gave me this book called No Death, No Fear. And I wasn't thinking it was going to be a talk, but Spirit has other ideas, and it ended up unfolding into that. Thich Nhat Hanh is a Buddhist monk. He passed away, I believe, last year. And he was a monk in Vietnam. And while he was at the Hermitage, his mother passed away. And he suffered for like a year over her passing. And after about a year, he had a dream about his mother. And it was just as if he was sitting and talking with her, like she was right there. And he had a strong feeling that he had never lost her and that it was just an idea that she was gone. And he got up and went for a walk and felt her continued presence with him and realized she was available at any time. I'm lucky in that people come to me after they pass away. It started years ago. First was just a dream. My grandmother came to me in a dream. And then people started coming. I remember years ago, my father-in-law sister passed away. And she just came and said, please tell my brother that I'm okay. And so it just started like that. And people would just come and say, tell so-and-so I'm okay. And then I had people closer to me pass away. My brother passed away. And a few days before he passed away, Spirit came to me and said, call your brother. And I didn't do it. And he died in a plane crash. And I learned a long time ago that I better start listening to that inner voice, that inner guidance, because I knew that it was for my good when that happened and I hadn't listened. So it was a pretty stark lesson. And then I took care of my mom when she was dying of cancer. And I was there the moment she took her last breath. And I remember saying to her, she was in a coma, I said, "I'm here, Mom. I'll be here all night." And immediately she went into that death breath. And I was there when she took her last breath, and I just sat there with her calmly. And I felt her presence leave her body and another being come to take her home. And I just sat there with her. Spirit said, just be her with her body. Just sit here. And I did before I called anybody, and just let Spirit speak to me. And it was a very beautiful experience. When my father passed away, it was a different experience because he came to me while he was still kind of in between. And he didn't like the feeling of being out of his body. And he had some things to say to me. So he was with me the whole time. I drove down to Williamsburg to tell my daughter at University of Virginia, where she was living, about it. And I stayed with her that night. And then the next morning he was with me. He wanted to let me know, as I was on my way to his house to meet my sister, that there was something in the safe that my sister, the executor, didn't know about. And lo and behold, there was some insurance policies in there she had no idea about. So I've learned to listen to this. A few days after that, I opened my front door, and this overwhelming feeling of my father having become one with everything just overtook me. It was so beautiful. In fact, Gloria, you were asking me about quilting. I've always wanted to make a quilt, but never could figure out how to do a doorway and then like have the aurora borealis or some star system, on the other side of the door. Someday, maybe I'll make that quilt, but it was just such a beautiful experience. And then before he had passed away, I showed him the movie Life After Life by Raymond Moody. And he said, "Well, I hope you're right." I said, "Dad, if I'm right, you come tell me." So later he came to me and he said, "You were right." So I want you to know that I know there's no end to us. I have talked to people. There's really, life can't die. And I'm blessed to have this experience with people on the other side. But, most of us, including myself, including monks, suffer tremendously when people pass away. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need to express our grief, be with our grief, let it flow, and yet inside have that knowing that they're never lost, they're never gone. The last time I spoke, there was another picture there, and that was our beloved Jeff. And he shared his calm with us as he was facing a serious operation. And it was a beautiful experience, of his calm and his peace as he was going forward into this experience. And it was just interesting because I've known Jeff. I was in a class when Jeff and Lynn met many, many years ago. And so was my roommate. So we've known them for, since they got together. Actually, we knew Lynn before that. So Jeff was reading a book by Anita Merjani called Dying to Be Me. And he let us know, that it had an impact on him. how he looked at what he was facing. I don't think he knew which way it would go, but he had some peace from reading this book. So I watched her TED Talk recently about this, and she talked about being aware of everything in the room while she was in a coma in the hospital and beyond. And she was aware of every place. Like she knew her brother in India was getting on a plane to come see her. And she also was aware of her father and her best friend who had already passed away. And she realized that her brother and best friend were guiding her. She felt like she was in a realm of clarity. I'm going to turn myself up because I'm thinking can people hear me okay? Okay. I know Bob's sitting a little closer, so I thought maybe I'll turn it up a little bit. So she saw that we're all of the same consciousness. And she loved it there. She didn't want to leave. Yet her father and friend told her it wasn't her time and that she should come back and live fearlessly. In her TED Talk, she talked about the five biggest lessons she got from her experience. Take a drink of water. The first one was to focus on love. She said, not just loving others, but to love ourselves. And that by loving ourselves, we stop allowing other people to take advantage of us, to control us, or, to treat us poorly. And so she said it's very important for us to love ourselves. And she realized that the reason she was sick is because she hadn't loved herself enough. That was one of the reasons. And she also realized that when we love ourselves, then we can truly love others. And I'd like to add that love is who we really are in our essence. That when we focus on love in a deeper way, we focus on who we really are. We're God's love in expression. That's who we are. The second is to live fearlessly. She says that we've been brought up on a diet of fear. It's been conditioned into us. And the last 4 years have been a prime example of that. We've all been kind of in this bubble of fear. But that doesn't mean to live recklessly. It just means, in her mind, it means to recognize that it's love rather than fear that keeps us safe. Thich Nhat Hanh states that our greatest fear is that when we die, we will be nothing. When we realize that we can't be destroyed, it's a great relief, and we are freed from fear. So to know our true nature and know that we can't really, truly end is a great relief. The third one is to express humor, laughter, and joy. It's natural for children to express this, yet it's conditioned out of us, she says. Find the lighter side of life. I can remember when my when my girls were teenagers and we went to a movie and I was laughing hysterically. And teenagers, oh, Mom, I was embarrassing the heck out of them in this movie theater. And I was just like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to be me. I feel like I had been freed to be myself finally. And it was just, I got to see that the conditioning, social mores and stuff that gets started even at teenagers. But now I'm sending funny memes all the time to friends. And um, yeah, Neil's nodding his head because he sent me this squirrel that's standing up like this. And I forget it. It says, what is its energy I send to you or something or like that. And I have sent that to so many people and they've loved it. So he's a good memer also, meme sender. But I'm always sending funny things and to humor is so important to get us through the craziness of this world. So laughter is wonderful. And when we access the truth of who we are, our inner self, it is joy itself. It's just this radiating joy that doesn't go away. It might get covered up by daily chores and that sort of thing, but it's always there. Number 4, see that life is a gift. She says that we act as if life is a chore, that all these challenges that come are like just awful. In the Buddhist tradition, they talk about the precious human life. And I can remember reading years ago where the Buddhists look at it like imagine the vast ocean. And there's a single sea turtle in the ocean, somewhere in the ocean. And somewhere else in the ocean is this inner tube. And the rarity of a precious human life is like that turtle finding that inner tube and getting underneath it and sticking its head through the donut. That's how rare it is and how many souls want to be here to experience this. So the preciousness of just even being here is amazing. I think all of us will hear well done just from being here and growing and loving. She says to see all our challenges as gifts. And if we can't see them as a gift yet, we're not done yet. I know myself when I've gone through major challenges that I don't see it in the midst of it. I don't see the gift. It's not till later that I can see God's hand in it and see that God was taking me away from something or pulling me into something, taking me away from something that didn't serve me anymore or pulling me into a new way of being, helping me to let go of those things that no longer serve me, my own character or things in my life. So look for the gifts in life. And then 5 is to always be yourself. Embrace your uniqueness. Be as you can be. Be as you can be. Shine your light brightly. Love yourself unconditionally. And I'd like to add to be the you that God created you to be. I never really felt like I fit the mold. I used to think it was a bad thing to not fit in. Now I think, thank goodness. So I'm going to be really brave right now because Spirit asked me to do this and I might cry. I had written my talk and then Spirit had me rewrite it. And Spirit asked me to see if Jeff wanted to say something. So bear with me. It's great over here. No more pain. I don't have to worry about the things I was worried about. I get to learn 24/7. I know he loved to learn. I can help others without any agendas. It's a lot more fun over here without the burdens of the body, without worries or concerns. It's lighter. The world seems so heavy. So then I asked him about Murjani, and he said, she helped me see that I'm so much greater than my body, my person, that I am powerful if I choose to be, that I'm not who I thought of myself as or others thought of me as. I'm so much more. And when the moment came, it helped me to let go. So I said, do you want to tell them, is there something else you want them to know? And he said, it's okay to let go when the time comes. There's nothing to fear. And I heard that others did come to greet him. And I asked him, if he felt the presence of God. And he said, it wasn't like God came down out of the heavens. It was like I felt this love. I just felt this love. And I feel a lot of things when I have this experience. I felt like he had been wrapped in this beautiful love from God. And so it's okay to go when the time comes and there's nothing to fear. And we're so much greater. And that's what he got from reading Murjani's book, that we're so much greater and we are greater. We're love itself. Now we can follow these things that Murjani says. Will it help us? Absolutely. I can see we'd benefit from it. But each one of us is on our own journey. We have our own lessons. We have our own things that we've learned, that we could make our own list and tell people, this is what I've learned. Muji says, you have to be strong to come here to Earth. And Dolores Cannon says, this is the most difficult school of learning here on Earth. We all signed up to come here. We came here to learn and grow. And I'd like to add one more lesson to Murjani's list. Seek, find, and live as your true self. What if we are lucky enough that this is the lifetime that we awaken to our true nature, our divine self, the Christ within us? Muji says to find that which is imperishable in you. He says that we only have one life, and that life is eternal. Adyashanti says, die before you die. Now, what does that mean? Someone came to him who was looking at the end of their life, a young man, and Adya talked with him and helped him find his own true nature so that he could die to the personal self and live as the divine self, the true self. In John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that we should not perish, but have everlasting life. That as we believe we shall have everlasting life. And my belief is that Christ presence is in each one of us. Always here, always underneath the hum of the world, the hum of distractions. It's who we are. It can never die. There's a place within us that is untouched by success and failure, grief and loss, time and space, suffering and challenges, up and down, yes and no. It is spaciousness, love, and joy rolled all into one. It can never die. And truth be told, it was never born. It simply took on a body to experience life here on earth. And when it has learned what it came here to learn, it will discard the body and move on to the next adventure. You are that. Whatever lessons in this life, whatever successes and failures, whatever a level of awakening we reach in this experience, this life, the song's the same. Well done, well done, my good and faithful one. Welcome to the place where you belong. God bless. And I just want to add that I believe we can reach there by accessing our spiritual nature before we make that transition. And so it is. So let's prepare for meditation. So just take a nice deep breath and close your eyes. Just let go of the cares and the worries and upsets. Set aside the past, everything, just all of it, as if it's on a timeline behind you. Just set it aside. And now set aside any concerns about the future. Just separate yourself from them for the time being. Let go of thoughts of who you are, thoughts of what you want. Let go of all assessments and judgments. Simply empty the mind. Just allow yourself to empty out. Just know that you can let go of all attachments, projections, judgments. Just let it all go. Lay it on the altar for now, and when the meditation is over, if you want to, you can bring it back. But for now, we just give all that to God so we can just be here, empty. And we find that as we empty, there's something else here. Something that can't leave. An isness with no association to the past or future or even now. Just pure awareness. It has no shape, no color, It can't be sick or depressed. It has no limitations. It's vast. There's no limit to it. There's no mood, no image. No thoughts. No beginning or end. It can't fade or weaken or be lost. There's no judgments. It was never born and it can never die. And so we allow our hearts to expand as this presence and awareness we allow its freedom out from under all the cares and worries. We just allow it to come forth as the truth of our being. And we rest for a moment in this awareness, this divine presence, this beingness. Father, we thank you for placing your spark within us, that we may never be apart from you. Thank you for placing your presence within us, as us, that we may be your hands and feet and voice in the world. Help us to place our faith in this, the truth of our being that can never go, that can never part, that may only seem to like a cloud in the sky covering the sun. And yet we can always come back to this, your light, your love, your joy. And so we commit to finding and knowing the truth of our being. That is you. Guide us and bless us in the days ahead. Guide and bless this church and each one here and all involved. Thank you for your love and for this time together. So it is, and amen.